The story opens with a man named Joe, who shows his girlfriend Jennifer an article that has just been published about him. Joe has become a creative officer at an advertising company. But right then, an unknown number adds him to a random group chat. The moment he walks into the office, his colleague Barry calls him Chief Creative Officer. Barry is certain their boss is going to choose Joe for the position. Barry is wearing smart glasses with a camera built in. He also has a necklace with a camera in it. Joe tells Barry about the random group chat. A few guys accidentally added him to their bachelor party group. These guys are heading out on a cheap trip to Miami. Joe told them he was added by mistake and sent them $200 so the first round of drinks would be on him. Now the guys start pushing Joe to come to Miami with them. But first, Joe heads in to give his presentation. He shows the ad campaign he has prepared, and not a single person in the room likes it. They all find it cringe. Joe's boss pulls him aside and tells him his last 3 campaigns have been total misses for Gen Z. The board has said that if he cannot land a company called Unlimited as a client, someone younger will be made Chief Creative Officer in his place. So Joe asks for 72 hours to win the Unlimited campaign. His boss gives him the time, but makes it clear that if he fails, he loses his job. While talking it over with Barry, Joe's eyes drift back to that random group chat, and an idea hits him. What if he goes to Miami with these guys and builds his pitch there? He starts thinking about an ad that includes them. He books a 5-star B&B for the group. While packing his bag, Joe tells his girlfriend that he did not get the promotion, but that he now has a chance. He says he can get himself together and think about the things that are important to him as a man. He says he just wants to make better decisions for them. That is why he is leaving for Miami right now. Hearing this, Jennifer gets angry because she thought Joe was about to propose. He was down on one knee talking about big things. Then he tells her his job is about to be gone and that marriage is the last thing on his mind, and Jennifer gets even angrier. But Joe lands in Miami and meets the guys. There is Nick, the best man. There is his best friend and the groom-to-be, Mason. There is Hunter, who has just gone through a breakup. And last is Freshman, who takes one look at Joe and calls him old. They are all thrilled when they see how big and beautiful the B&B is. Nick runs everyone through the itinerary for the day. Joe has packed an entire suitcase full of booze from that company, Unlimited. The guys think it is strange that he hauled it all the way from home, but they appreciate the effort. So when Joe starts mixing drinks for everyone, Nick tells him it is really weird that he came. None of them thought Joe would be 50 years old. Nick says this is the last hangout he gets with Mason. After this, Mason marries that crazy woman who will not even let him leave the house. So Nick wants everything to be perfect. Joe tells him absolutely he will not get between them. He is only here to have fun. But inside his suitcase of clothes, one bottle has leaked. Every piece of clothing he brought is ruined. Then Joe finds a closet in the apartment with a "Do Not Open" sign on it and a camera mounted on it. And this is where we learn the mansion belongs to a cartel. The closet Joe just opened is their boss's summer closet. Dressed in those clothes, Joe heads out with the guys. They buy more booze. But before drinking any alcohol, Joe downs 2 bottles of digestive medicine to protect his stomach. After that, Nick offers Joe a nicotine pouch. Joe starts filming the guys, but they stop him and tell him he cannot record any of this. Within minutes, Joe's lips start going numb. He had swallowed the pouches. On top of that, he is drinking with the guys and dancing. The effect shows up fast. Joe throws up all over every one of them. They all end up at a laundromat. Joe pulls cash out of an ATM, and right there a man walks up and asks him what the rate is for these boys. He assumes Joe is their dealer. And right then the police show up and they assume the same thing, that he is dealing to these underage boys. Joe calls the guys outside to clear everything up, but they say this relationship is completely consensual. They met via text, and he bought them alcohol. So now the police think Joe is a human trafficker. Hearing that, the guys and Joe run. But Joe is nowhere near as fast as they are. The police surround him. Somehow he slips away from them and escapes, and in the scuffle a police badge ends up stuck to him. Joe quickly sends Barry the videos he recorded. Barry tells him this is genius, but he needs more footage. Barry had snuck his glasses and that necklace into Joe's bag. Now, with their help, Joe will be able to upload everything. Joe goes and apologizes to the guys for last night. He offers to charter a yacht for them. But when they get to the location, there has been an error with the yacht booking. Sitting right in front of them, though, is a yacht packed with girls. Joe tries to get them in. He flashes the police badge at the security guard and tells him to keep quiet. Just let him and these boys go up. There is a party going on aboard the yacht. But there are cartel men on this same yacht. Joe orders unlimited bottles and records everything. He notices that Mason has gotten emotional after talking to his fiancée. Mason is realizing what a huge step marriage is. He is so excited to be a husband. And Nick spots the two of them talking. Then, while wandering around, Joe walks straight into the middle of the cartel men. One of them gets suspicious and asks if he is a police officer. He tells Joe that if he is not police, he should prove it by inhaling their powder. Joe does it. But the man tells him to do it one more time. Joe does it again. After that, they let him go. The powder kicks in fast. Joe starts calling himself Ricardo Montana and begins talking in a Hispanic accent. A man challenges Joe, so Joe sends Mason and Nick away from there. After that, the man hits Joe. Joe hits him back. A fight breaks out between the two of them. Joe locks the man inside a room, and the man fires a gunshot from the other side. Joe goes up to the top deck of the yacht, still calling himself Ricardo Montana, shouting that this is his city. Jays sees the state Joe is in and starts laughing. But the guys grab Joe and run. They take off on the cartel's jet skis. Joe comes back to his senses a little while later and realizes that while he was high, he had sent Jennifer a video too. She has not been picking up his calls for the last 2 days anyway. Meanwhile, Jays calls his boss and tells him someone stole their expensive powder. He tells his boss the man's name is Ricardo Montana. Meanwhile, Nick does not want Joe going out to party with them tonight. He even calls him uncle. But Joe goes along with him anyway. Nick pulls out a book in front of everyone. It holds all the memories of the 4 friends, from childhood right up to today. Nick now hands the responsibility of it over to Mason. Joe takes the book from Mason to look at it, but Nick snatches it back from him. Joe gets a call from Barry, who praises his recorded footage again. But he says it is still missing girls, and that is 50% of the customer base. Then 2 Spanish waiters mistake Joe for Ricardo and start showering him with praise. And right at that moment, a photo of Ricardo sitting in the club reaches Jay's. Joe becomes Hunter's wingman and starts teaching him how to pick up girls. That is when they spot a group of girls. Joe takes everyone over and introduces them. Jays has arrived there too. His men start searching for Joe. The girls are heading to another club and they have a limo. They ask the guys to come along. Joe convinces all of them to go, and they slip out without ever crossing the cartel's line of sight. But right then Joe gets a call from his girlfriend. Behind him, one of the girls is calling him over. Jennifer hears all of it, and she says clearly moving in together was a big mistake, so she is moving out. Hearing this, Mason asks Joe 2 questions. Do you love this woman, and do you want to spend the rest of your life with her? Joe answers yes to both. Mason tells him, see, who cares if we do not have all the pieces fitting perfectly together? Go home and just tell her your feelings. Nick sees the 2 of them talking again and calls the whole idea of marriage a worthless one. And Mason does not even say anything back to him, because in his view Nick has the emotional intelligence of a 2-year-old. Right then the girls come over and hand them drinks. Within minutes, every one of the guys is unconscious. The whole thing was a trap set by these girls. The guys wake up on a beach shore. All of their stuff was gone. The girls had stolen the memory book too. Nick is furious. They do not even know where they are. Joe says let's walk. But no matter how far they wander, they keep circling back to the beach. Then Joe spots a boat. There are 2 men on it, and they have a gun. Joe tells them his story and asks for a lift to Miami. But this fishing boat does not look like an ordinary boat to them. They open the wooden boxes lying there. Freshman reads the Japanese written on them and starts laughing. These are the private parts of male whales, which sell on the black market. And right then a police helicopter comes down over the boat, and they raid it. Joe and the others stay hidden inside. But the smugglers run and the police go after them, which means there is no one on the boat except the 5 of them. And the boat has started taking on water. They grab the whale parts and use them to make it to the shore. But a jellyfish was lying near Joe, and it stung him right on the face. Joe's face has swollen up. Hunter tells him to put a whale part on his face, as it has healing properties. Joe has no choice but to do it, and everyone starts making fun of him. Mason thanks Joe for saving their lives. He invites Joe to his wedding. But first, Joe needed Benadryl. Meanwhile, the cartel boss realizes in front of Jays that Joe, meaning Ricardo, is living in their own mansion. He had felt all along that he had seen Joe somewhere. Then, back at the mansion, it comes out in front of the guys that Joe has been using their photos and videos to build a marketing campaign. All of them are furious that he exploited them without their consent. Nick throws Joe's laptop straight into the aquarium. Mason tells Joe to leave. He throws him out. He throws his luggage out too. But sitting at a bar, Joe spots those girls. He runs after their car. He climbs on top of the limo. He gets inside and warns the guys not to drink anything the girls give them. The guys get out of the car. Joe demands his belongings back from the girls, but they all start beating him together. They try to throw Joe out of the moving car. Joe defends himself. He blocks the girls' attacks. He dodges the pepper spray, which makes their own attacks land on themselves. When every one of the girls comes at him in full rage, Joe grabs the bag with their belongings and jumps out of the car. He screams at them, 4-against-1. Joe takes the scrapbook back. But the guys have already been attacked by the cartel men, who have kidnapped Mason and taken him with them. They thought that Ricardo Montana, meaning Joe, is some sort of kingpin trying to move into their territory. And now they have until 8 p.m. to give the cartel their powder back, or they will kill Mason. Joe asks what powder. He does not even remember that while he was high, he stole 30 kilos of that powder. It was in the same jet skis they escaped on. Joe calls the cartel using the burner phone they gave him. But the cartel boss does not want to talk to Joe, only to Ricardo Montana. He hangs up. So the guys tell Joe to become Ricardo. But it was not voluntary. There was only one way Joe could become Ricardo, and they tell him to do it. Joe does it once, but nothing happens. Hunter says do more. Joe refuses. So Nick forces him into it, and Joe collapses unconscious. After that, Ricardo Montana comes out, and he tells them to call the cartel. Ricardo talks to the cartel boss in his own style. He says if there is one scratch on him, then you and me will have a big problem, and you do not want a war. Ricardo says he already partners with the Yakuza. But the Yakuza had a deal with the cartel boss. So Ricardo has freshmen speak Japanese, which makes the cartel believe Ricardo's lie. Ricardo tells the cartel boss to trade the powder for Mason. He slaps Hunter for cutting in. The cartel boss agrees to the trade, but Ricardo will not show up there like this. He says if they are going to a party, they are going dressed for it. He tells them to get ready too. They all put on suits and head over. The cartel men bring Mason, but by now Joe is back in place of Ricardo. The high has worn off. Joe keeps up the act anyway. The cartel boss steps forward and asks why he is wearing his dead father's clothes. The cartel boss's father was short, just like Joe. And looking at Joe is making him angry. The cartel boss has also confirmed with the Yakuza that they do not know any Ricardo. Joe starts clapping. The cartel boss pulls out a gun and demands an answer to his question. Who is Ricardo Montana? Terrified, Joe tells him the whole truth, that Ricardo is fiction and not real. He says they did not know his powder was in the skies. He says whatever he wants to do it to him and let these kids go. The cartel boss gets angry that Joe did all of this because he had a midlife crisis. But he does not hurt anyone. He comes over and looks at Joe's coat, and he hugs him. He starts crying, remembering his dad. Joe smells like his father. The cartel boss says love you papa. He even introduces his son Jace to him. The cartel boss tells Joe to prioritize the people in his life. That brings Jennifer to Joe's mind. They let Mason go. The cartel boss takes the coat back from Joe, because Joe had shit in the pants. The next day, Joe apologizes to the guys for ruining their weekend. Nick says you did, but this weekend has become so unforgettable that he is going to add him to the book. After that, Joe says goodbye to them and heads back home. And the moment he lands, he gets a video Nick sent him. He recovered the data from the hard drive and made an ad for Joe. Everyone at Joe's company is waiting for him to arrive. But instead of going himself, Joe sends the video to Barry. Joe himself goes to Jennifer, who is in the middle of moving out. He shares his feelings with her and stops her. Jennifer agrees. After that, they arrive at Mason's wedding, and the two of them are engaged as well. And Joe has given the unemployed Nick a job under him. And now, after this wedding, Joe's own bachelor party is coming up soon, and that is where this story ends. Let us know in the comments how you like this recap, and do not forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel.